Everyone's, the NFL's rigged against the Steelers. They don't want to see them succeed. The Jets are on prime time a lot. They must really like the Jets. And, the Jets are in a big market, but the NFL's not rigged. Nobody's rooting against the Steelers. Nobody said, hey, let's stack the end of the season so then they can lose and not be in the playoffs. They're a top 3 to 5 brand in the NFL. The NFL would love for Pittsburgh to be a really good team, a fun story, an interesting story, and a team that pushes ratings and a lot of media attention. The NFL would love that. They would not purposely rig the schedule against the Steelers. And for everybody to say, the schedule's really tough, Pittsburgh had a bottom 10 schedule in terms of strength of schedule for the past 2 seasons. They've had cupcakes the past 2 years compared to other teams. So I don't want to hear it. I really don't. And the early schedule, I could argue, I actually really like it. So obviously, again, you know that you have to play the teams, right? They released this like a year ago. Who do you have at home? Who do you have on the road? Now you finally get to see when do you play them. Who's on the back-to-back? Who do you have, after the Ravens, like I said? Who do you have on prime time? Who do you have on short rest? You get the Falcons early. Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles. It's a completely new system that he's learning. You got new players in and out. They have a new coaching staff. That's exactly when you would want to play the Falcons. Same thing with the Broncos. Rookie quarterback, new system, a lot of new guys. Absolutely, you would love to play Bo Nix in the second week of the season. You don't want Bo Nix in week 14 when he's already rolling with Sean Payton. They have camaraderie. You want him early when he is a little bit over his skis like almost all rookie quarterbacks are. Chargers, yeah, that's a tough game. But again, still, new system, you get them early, and you get them at home, right? That's a benefit. You go to Indy. Anthony Richardson's coming off an injury, week 4. That's still pretty early. Don't hate it at all. You get the Raiders, the Jets, the Giants, all in the first half of the season. Your toughest game is probably the Cowboys, but you get them at home in prime time. So the first half of the season, I actually really like the schedule. And now everybody's talking about the last half where it goes Ravens, Browns. So it's home against the Ravens, at the Browns, at the Bengals, home against the Browns, at Philly, at Baltimore, home against the Chiefs and Bengals to end it. I 100% agree that's a brutal stretch. That's Lamar, Deshaun, Burrow, Deshaun, Hurts, Lamar, Mahomes, Burrow. That's going to suck. I completely agree. But can we not act like it? Can we realize that it really doesn't matter? It really doesn't matter. You're going to have to play these teams anyway. If you think they're going to lose to Baltimore, does it really matter if they're going to lose to them in week 11 or if they're going to lose to them in week 3? Not really. Not really. And here's what you're hearing. The Steelers finally have a really good roster and a really good quarterback and an awesome offensive coordinator, and the NFL screwing them out of a chance to go to the Super Bowl. If you actually thought they were a Super Bowl team, does it matter who they play when? You know who I have not heard a peep from? Kansas City, San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, even Buffalo, who I don't view in that same regard, haven't heard a peep. Baltimore, haven't heard anything. Cincinnati, haven't heard a thing. Maybe it's because I don't live in those cities, but I have not heard a thing in terms of national media attention about any of those team schedules. Because they actually truly believe they're a good team and it doesn't matter. If you think you're a Super Bowl team, you're going to have to play almost all of those teams at any point anyway. You're going to have to play the Ravens twice no matter what. You're going to have to play the Browns and Bengals twice no matter what. If you really think you're on their level, you might have to see one of them in the playoffs as well. If you think you're on the Chiefs' level, you're going to have to beat them in the AFC Championship game at Arrowhead anyway. At least you get them at home on Christmas. Right? If you think the Eagles are good, what if they get to the Super Bowl? You think you're a Super Bowl caliber team? There's your Super Bowl matchup. Right? Is that too crazy? Well, that's exactly what you're hearing out of Pittsburgh. And it's actually insane. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Because here's why it doesn't matter. They're going to go ahead and win 10 games like they always do. And they're going to let you down in the first round of the playoffs like they always do. So what? If their schedule was easy, they win 13 games. And Miami rolls into town. I would 100% lay my house on Miami. Absolutely. I don't care who comes into Pittsburgh. I don't care who we go on the road to face in the first round of the playoffs. I am putting lumber on that team. It is not even close because Pittsburgh is going to do what they always do under Tomlin, and they're going to disappoint in the first round of the playoffs, if they even get there. So it doesn't matter how many games they win. I don't care if they're 9-8, 8-9, 10-7, 14-3. It does not matter because they're going to be the same disappointment that they've always been until they make a change in terms of leadership. Do we really think Russ is the magic elixir that's going to make them go to the Super Bowl? Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph got them to the playoffs. I have no doubt Russ can get them to the playoffs. Is he going to actually change anything? Or is it just going to be the same disappointment in round one? Right? The only teams that actually care about their schedule are like Cleveland. And like Detroit used to care when they sucked. And like Houston used to care. And Jacksonville. Do we get the pattern here? Like the Jets care. Right? Like teams that actually don't have standards. Like if the standard for Pittsburgh is that we are now complaining about our schedule because we think that's going to make or break us being successful as a football team, then your standards, you're not focusing on the right thing. The standard is the standard. Well, right now the standard is bitch moaning and complaining about a schedule that you can't do anything about, and that if you truly believe you're good at, you're going to move through it anyway. You're going to move through it anyway. You are only complaining because you know deep down in your heart of hearts, they're not good enough to beat that schedule. They're not actually as good as you think they might be. And that's why you're upset. That's why all those whiny Steelers fans are upset. And I am a Steelers fan. Hence the shirt. But the schedule's the schedule. You got to play it. If you think you're that good, go beat the teams you say you're better than then.